Losing their jobs at two of our biggest companies. The cuts at GlaxoSmithKline in Harlow and Vauxhall in Luton are being blamed on global economic problems.
The Glaxo cuts will send alarm bells ringing in Essex. 380 staff are to go. Many of them are highly qualified research and development specialists. At Luton, it's the sales and admin team which are bearing the brunt, as another 90 posts are lost. Let's go live to Harlow now, and our reporter Nikki Jenkins. Nikki.
Thank you very much, Susie. Well, today GlaxoSmithKline issued a 29-page press release, basically heralding their recent successes. And buried away in little more than a paragraph was the news that was the death knell, really, for so many jobs here in Harlow. The company just last week announced a 12% increase in profits, up to £873 billion. Great news for the shareholders, but the price, it seems, is being paid by the people here. Employees received letters last Thursday letting them know their jobs were at risk.
Not very happy. No, I don't want to speak to you, thank you.
It had been rumoured that the whole plant would close. In fact, it's a third of the workforce. Cold comfort, though, especially for those in such specialised jobs.
It's neuroscience that's being closed down, so I assume it's going to be quite difficult for people who've got expertise in neuroscience to find work. Some people are quite upset, but they're going to find out more information tomorrow.
There will be a 90-day consultation period. GlaxoSmithKline declined to comment until it's finished, but in a statement said, "We have announced proposals to cease discovery research in selected neuroscience areas, including depression and pain. We remain very conscious of the impact restructuring has on our employees. Where possible, we will continue to preserve jobs."
There is a knock-on effect for businesses, and especially small and medium-sized businesses that supply a company the size of GlaxoSmithKline. And those are the sort of people that are our residents, and we'll be looking to try and help through any downturn in their economic situation.
Locally, the shock is tangible that this should happen to one of the industry's giants.
You get trade from it, so yeah, so it's going to affect us all. So, you know, you don't know. You think, oh my God, that's such a big company, you know. It's worrying.
I can't believe that they're actually laying off people. It's just such a shock, especially one of the biggest sites they have.
Well, privately, people are saying to me that there's no money in neurosciences, and basically the company are putting profits before either patients or employees. Of course, they're still reeling from the shock, and they're not the only ones. In news from Vauxhall today, Nick Riley, who's the chief executive, was addressing a press conference in Frankfurt outlining his final restructuring plans, which involve a 20% across-the-board cut in capacity, which he believes will bring the company back into profitability in 2012. The new job losses that we heard about today are in administration. The lion's share of those jobs are at Griffin House in Vauxhall. That's where they've got people in marketing, dealership support, HR, PR, that kind of thing. 154 jobs to go across the UK, but more than half of those job losses expected to be at Griffin House. Also heard about 15 administration jobs going on the Vauxhall van plant line as well.
Nikki, thank you very much. Well, earlier I spoke to the MP for Harlow, Bill Rammell, who's also a minister. I asked for his reaction to what must be a huge blow for his constituency.
I'm extremely concerned. My understanding is about a third of the jobs are going to be made, the people in those jobs are going to be made redundant at the GlaxoSmithKline plant in Harlow. One of the sites is going to be closed. That is a big blow to the community. It's also, frankly, devastating to the people whose lives are going to be affected. I've demanded an urgent meeting with the Chief Executive to seek the strongest possible reassurances that everything possible will be done by GSK to provide support, to provide training, to help these people to find alternative employment. I'm also talking to Harlow Council to see what they can do, proactively working with GSK to see if we can get alternative employment into the part of the site that is being vacated.
Did you have any warning that this was going to happen?
No, I didn't. It came out of the blue. My understanding is it's the fourth quarter profit results for GSK, which has led them to cut back significantly in the neuroscience area. I think that is a concern, and it's particularly a concern at a time when we are beginning to come out of recession.
You are a member of the government. We are being told that the economy is getting better, is improving, but we're actually still seeing job losses happening quite regularly in this region.
Well, look, no government can guarantee against job losses given the scale of the international economic crisis that has taken place. If you look at the figures, the unemployment figures, actually they have been lower than that which was projected and they have started to come down. But you will inevitably get jobs being created whilst other ones go. Now, none of that gives me any comfort at all, and I'm extremely concerned about the loss of such a significant number of jobs within my constituency.
What about the impact on the scientific community? Do you think this means that research jobs will go abroad?
No, I don't think that's the case, and I was talking to GSK recently about their overall prospects. And, you know, they're a global company, and the impact of the international recession has affected them everywhere. So I don't think it's particular to the UK, but nevertheless, this is a shock. It will have an enormous impact on the 300 or so individuals who are affected. And as a constituency MP, I want to do everything that I can to help.
Bill Rammell, the Harlow MP and Armed Forces Minister, speaking to me a short while ago.
A judge has criticised our immigration system for allowing a Vietnamese couple to force immigrants into slavery in Milton Keynes and Wellingborough. Today at Northampton Crown Court, the two traffickers were jailed for a total of 13 years after bringing people into the country from Vietnam to work in nail bars. This report from our Home Affairs correspondent, Sally Chidzoy.
In the eyes of the law, they were man and wife, but in reality they were brother and sister. The sham marriage in Vietnam and then another marriage between the couple in the UK helped Han Van Vu stay here. He was free to traffic dozens of his own people, charging them $35,000 each to get into the country for a life of slavery. It all fell apart for the Vietnamese fraudster when one of his exploited workers fought with him outside this nail bar in Wellingborough. The victim walked across the road and told the police everything he knew.
Sentencing Han Van Vu to 11 years in jail, Judge Richard Bray told him that what he had done had been shocking. He'd exploited his own people by trafficking them into the UK for his own profit. And he told him his case highlighted how easy it could be for illegal migrants to circumvent British border controls.
Han Van Vu had arrived in the UK via Heathrow Airport. He got through control checks with ease. He used fake papers, made false declarations and laundered money. Judge Richard Bray said the measures taken by the border agency in the UK were pitifully inadequate. He said illegal immigrants were simply let out onto the streets without scrutiny.
Well, we'll take away what the judge has said today. We welcome his statements, we welcome his sentencing as well, which was very pleasing and reflects the seriousness of the offence and the investigations that were completed.
Han Van Vu's sister, Phuong Tai Win, was jailed for 2.5 years for her part in the case. The judge said Vietnamese immigration issues were as serious today as they were a decade ago, and that Vietnamese cannabis factories were a symptom of what was happening, that courts across the country were dealing with problems created by illegal immigrants. The pair will be stripped of their British citizenship and deported once they've served their sentences. Sally Chidzoy, BBC Look East, Northampton.
Well, in our special report tonight, could our schools be doing more to produce our future Olympic champions?
We have a roundup of last night's football action, and the Countess of Wessex